Have you ever noticed that when you're in a great mood, things just seem to go your way? And also, if you're in a bad mood, everything seems to go wrong. Well, today on Revive with River, I actually want to talk about a real life manifestation that happened to me. And I want to give you a secret formula that is, see if you catch it beforehand, but this formula is actually something that I didn't notice I was using for many years. And when it started to make sense and my mentor taught me this, it all started to click. Thank you for joining again. Please subscribe, like, and share. I know it sounds so redundant when people ask that, right? Why keep asking subscribe, like, and share or comment? That's the way I get bumped up so that I am more out there so people can like this video or share it or comment on it. Then more people are able to subscribe and see the content that I'm providing, which obviously that's what I'm doing it for, to share this with people. So I hope you enjoy it as well. And let's get into this. So today I am talking about he who vibes highest gets the prize. And that is something that I learned from my mentor when I was in prison. And I'm going to go into a couple of stories in these episodes coming up about this particular secret formula that I think you are all going to enjoy because you do it too. And maybe you just didn't realize it. Like I did it a lot and I didn't realize that I was doing it and how it is that it actually activates. And we all have this within us. I want to mention a book. And this book, I recommend it highly. It is a great book. It's called Power versus Force. It is by Dr. Hawkins, and it covers how we don't have to try to make things happen through force. And by that, it's like, through the hustle and grind. Nothing wrong with hustling and grinding. But the point is to be aligned when you hustle and grind. So it talks about, it really breaks it down in a good way. And this video, I will talk about that a little bit more. It's a quick video, but I just wanted to cover that with you just as before we get started, that quick disclaimer. So there it is. Get the book. I recommend it highly. The chart that he uses, I saw it firsthand being in prison and how things work out when you actually vibrate higher. So let's talk about why prison is a vibrational trap. And there are other things that, obviously, right? It's not like prison is it's not supposed to be something, oh, I'm looking forward to going. But I will share something in the next episode about my experience before going to prison and how it was something that actually, I'll leave it right there. So just stay tuned for the next one, I think. And if you know anybody who is facing any kind of trouble like this, but let's not just say prison. Let's say something like maybe a pending surgery, awaiting a diagnosis of some kind. They're thinking of some kind of, they're expecting bad news, things of that nature. Share these videos with them because it applies to all of those things. It's not just for people. This story, I've used so many, not the story, this vibrational setting, I've used it so many times without even knowing I was using it. And when it clicked one day, I was like, man, now I know what I'm doing. And I know how it works. And I've used it just playing sometimes, and it does happen just like that. Simple things like, oh, I know I'm going to see this person right now. Boom. And they're there in the elevator or wherever, in my building where I live. Things like that would happen all the time just through playing with this. I noticed that when a lot of people, obviously, right, prison is not supposed to be a happy place. But I don't know. I know a lot of people that were there were always very upset, always complaining, right? Like I would see guys on the phone and you do feel helpless in there, right? Because you're like, I'm in here. I can't do anything for my loved ones or anything I want to do. But, a lot of people were always, I remember them slamming the phones, boom, boom. I know this is happening and I wish I was out there, blah, blah, blah. And I get it because it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating. So I've experienced that. But the thing is, and they tell you, and oh, you'll be back, and it's like, why do they do that? Because when you fall into that vibration of negativity, you start to attract that kind of scenarios into your life. So one thing I noticed, so I put here, obviously you guys can read, but I just wanted to put these for you, like vibrational traps, like prison. Music is a vibrational trap, believe it or not, that I discovered in there. I remember when I was in there, this guy had told me one time, hey, let's go work out. And I was just laying in the on the bed, and I was just like, nah, dude, like I don't want to do anything. I was so depressed, right? At first. And then he goes, hey, you can't do anything about what's happening out there. You got to be here, be present here. And I was like, you know what? That makes sense. It's all right. So I read a book from Tony Robbins as well that I'm going to recommend. I'm always recommending books to people. It's called Unlimited Power. But there's a chapter in there that it talks about neuro linguistic programming, NLP. So if you want to look that up, NLP, and maybe study more on it. But it was talking about, because I function a lot on music, right? Like I'm always, like in my head, I'm always playing some kind of track, right? That I heard, a song or whatever. And sometimes the vibrational trap of hearing a song that gets you depressed, angry, anxious, etc., will keep you there. What you really want to do is be able to switch it, recognize it immediately, and switch it on the fly. And that's what I learned that day when the guy told me let's go work out. And I was depressed. I was like, you know what? I was reading that chapter, and I remember I was like, you know what? Let me switch the song in my head. And I remember switching it to a song that just made me happier. And so to me, that to me always reminded me of, wow, I could really that was one of my first things I learned, like, oh, I could just switch my mood by switching the song that I'm playing in my head. Another thing is TV shows, right? TV shows that are very, I don't know, man. People love watching a lot of this, what do you call it, a reality TV and all that stuff, but sometimes it's just really negative, I used to love watching this. I'm not going to complain about it because it is kind of funny. But sometimes it depends, right? If you get affected by it, don't watch it. If you don't get affected by it, watch it. It doesn't really matter as long as you understand and are self-aware that you're not affected by it. So that's very, very important. And another thing is people, right? People that you hang out with. We could love someone, and you could love them dearly. It could be family. Sometimes you're just like, hey, I'll see you, on the weekends, or I'll see you whatever. It could be romantic. It could be friends. And sometimes you really need to see how you feel when you pull away. If you've ever disconnected from social media, you'll notice I did a 3-month disconnect, and I remember I felt, it's funny because at first you're like, whoa, I'm not, what's everybody up to? But actually, like in about a week or two, I just felt completely free. And it was so freeing that I didn't even want to get back on it. But obviously, that's our way of connecting with our friends and people. So we use social media. The thing is to use it, not let it use you. So that's something worth talking about. But talking about the prison vibration trap, shame, guilt, and despair, as noted in that chart. So in the chart from Power versus Force, shame, guilt, and despair are the lowest vibrations. And because they're so low, I noticed that everybody in there was vibrating that way. And so I went in there with I remember before I went to prison, I remember saying, I'm going away like college. I'm going to go away. It's like a college. I'm going away to a dorm, basically, and I'm going to come out better than I went in, and I'm going to learn as much as I can and improve myself. That was my mentality going in. So the minute I got in there, I developed a business plan, which I'm going to talk about here, how this happened, because it does result that he who vibes highest gets the prize. So you'll see how it all ties in together. Let me see. I'm reading my notes because it's a lot to talk about. I'm trying to keep it as concise as possible. Now, the power of positive expectation. You have the power to set your day through your expectation. And the next video I recorded, the next one I'll upload, talks a lot about that. And these videos together, my hope is that you just get something that works for you, or a loved one, a friend, family member that could use some of this information if they're facing a scenario where it looks a little bit gloomy. So if it's a little gloomy out there for somebody, this will be a good video, because the expectation that my mentor taught me, who I want to have on here one day to interview him, because he has a lot of things that are so deep that he taught me. And when that guy left, the whole place seemed like depressed. It reminded me kind of when I'm from Chicago, right? So it reminded me of when Michael Jordan retired from the Bulls the first time, how the whole city was like depressed. And that's what it reminded me of when the best way I could explain it was that it reminded me of when he left, when he got out, because he was such a positive influence on that whole environment. He helped a lot of people's lives in there. So, I'm hoping that one day I could interview him so I could let him share some of his the way he thinks and the way he processes things. Now, so I wanted to share about what happened. One day, one of the local colleges, there taught classes, and you could get a degree in there. So they had some classes that they were teaching. And the thing is that, no, it had just ended. This class had just ended. Sorry. So this class had just ended. And I remember standing outside of the classroom where they taught in that building. And I remember looking at the classes that were coming up, like all the classes that they were offering. And I remember seeing business plan writing. And I was like, oh, I want to take that class. And that's when David Pritchard, who's was a producer of The Simpsons. He passed away, but he was there, and he was looking at me and he goes, what class do you want to take? And I told him, I'm thinking of taking this, this business plan writing class. He goes, well, they only offer these classes in sequential order. And that class was just given about 3 semesters ago. So you have to wait like 5 years to take it. So I think you're better off getting out and taking it out there, right? And I started laughing like, yeah. So I remember when I walked away, that's when I said to myself, in my mind, I just said, I would like it if they would offer it again. Next. That's it. In my head. I never voiced it. Because people talk about the power of words and the power of words. And they keep saying it's not words. It's actually what you know. It's your vibration, what you feel. And I didn't have to voice anything. Like, oh, your affirmations. Affirmations are good if they're going to change the way you feel. So it's the power of words. So I remember the power of words, the power of your vibration and your feeling and emotion. And I remember I said, I would like it if they were to teach that class again next semester. So didn't think anything of it. Next day, there is a flyer. I remember it was I believe it was an orange flyer. Yeah. And it said business plan writing class starting. But I took this class in college, right? So to me, it was just like, man, I took this a long time ago. It'd be a good refresher because I had this business plan and all these ideas in my head that I wanted to put on paper. So I was like, this would be a good time to take a refresher and use this time in a way that was very valuable, right? So the one thing I remember at that point, after that, I went to, when I saw that the class was being offered, I went and I told my counselor in there, I said, hey, I want to take that class. And he goes, let me see. He goes, you can't take it. And I go, why? He goes, because the class is, I think it was 7 or 8 weeks long. He goes, you can't take it because by the time you get out before the class ends. So I can't let you take it. He goes, they won't let you. He goes, it's not even my rules, it's the college's rules. I go, what if I just sit like a fly on the wall and just I won't say anything, and I'll just take my own notes. He goes, no, I can't. It's not. He goes, not my rules, college rules. He goes, so they're the ones that decide that. So sorry, man. And like, oh, okay. So I remember I was like, man, I walked away, and I remember when I walked away, I was like, you know what? I would like it if they changed the schedule so that I could take this class. And that's when I discovered this secret formula. I would like it if dot dot dot. Or wouldn't it be nice if dot dot dot? Because the next, probably about a couple days later, I remember looking at the walking through because we all went to this like through this hallway, and it was like the college classes were taught there. And I remember it was a purple flyer this time, and the purple flyer said class has been rescheduled, starts on this date and ends on this date. It ended the day before I got out, literally allowing me to take that class. So I asked myself, at that time, I remember telling myself, like, why did I make this happen? How did I make this happen? There's all these rules, right? People always give us rules. Oh, no, these are the rules of the school. These are the rules. This is what's planned next. You can't do this because blah, blah, blah. But he who vibes highest, or she who vibes highest, gets the prize. That is so key. I cannot emphasize that any more than I just did. You have to understand. The whole world is talking about collapsing economy and this and that, and you say, you know what? Not in my world. Guess what? It won't collapse in your world. And I have so many examples of this. This is why I want to kind of go into a series of talking a lot about wouldn't it, or I would like it if dot dot dot. Wouldn't it be nice if dot dot dot? Because I think that is such a powerful tool that you all can use, and you use it. You just don't realize it. Not that all of you don't realize it, but sometimes we're not aware of it. And so once you become aware of it, you're like, you know what? This is what I want. So you don't even have to get forceful about it. All I said was just simply, you know what? I would like it if they give this class. And it happened. So to me, that was very, very powerful. Going back to the chart that I was saying, if everybody in the prison was vibrating under shame, despair, and guilt, and I was vibrating higher because my mentality was, you know what, this is going to be a good thing for me. I'm going to make this the best thing ever. It doesn't matter what everybody else wanted. Everybody could have wanted the next class I forgot what the next class was that was supposed to come up according to the sequential order, but it didn't matter because it was the class that I wanted that came up. Even though there were thousands of people in there, my class was offered without me having to talk to anyone, me just simply vibrating at that level. The college said, let's offer this class again for whatever reason. And I think this is just so powerful for you all. And I'll break down more. I wanted to make this video short and sweet, but I have some notes here, like, why did this work for me and not for them, right? Because I wasn't forcing anything. This is the power versus force part as well. Hustle and grind if you're vibrating highly, so it's not a waste of your hustle and grind. Because when you're hustling, but you're in alignment, doors will just open and things happen quickly. But if you're hustling and grinding in a vibration of shame, guilt, or despair, or one of the lower vibrations, then you're going to have to make it happen through hustle and grind. And yeah, you can make it happen, but you'll end up very exhausted. Where, sometimes I remember going one time to little side note on this one. I remember I had one of my partners. We were picking up some properties, and I told him, "Hey, here we go again. Wouldn't it be nice if, I would like it if dot dot dot. Wouldn't it be nice if dot dot dot?" I remember telling him, and my buddy Sal, proof that this happened. I remember telling him, "Dude, wouldn't it be nice if we closed a deal every day of the week this week?" And I guess you already know, we ended up getting contracts every day of the week and selling them so quickly because it was interesting how these deals just came. It was easy talking to a client. It's like, you know what? I like you guys. Yeah, I want to work with you. It was just so effortless. Talking to a neighbor, hey, can I have this other house for like 900,000? Can you guys help me move that house? Yeah, well, come on, come and look at it. It was just the funniest thing. And the last one that happened that week, I want to say this because this is interesting. We were driving, and by the way, I wasn't planning on this. Not on my notes to say any of this, so this is something that just came up to me. But it is part of this. I would like it if you have to be sensitive to the hustle in a inspired way, right? Hustling in an inspired way. This particular scenario, I remember we were driving to an appointment, and we were still a block away from that property. And I stopped the car, and I remember I reversed it. And I go, hey, can you check if that guy wants to sell his house? And my partner got out the car, went to knock, and the guy said no. Like, what about that one? He goes, okay. And he goes, the guy came out not only wanting to sell that, but he had 2 plots of land that we got super cheap. And he had a contract that was blank, ready, a purchase contract, ready, like as if he already knew somebody was going to buy the house. It was the craziest thing ever. And my partner Sal is proof that that thing is true. And we were like, what the heck? So ever since then, it's like, dude, like the power of really understanding. I would like it if ... Wouldn't it be nice if ... is a secret formula that if you know it's something you're aligned to, you can make it happen with that kind of success versus just hoping that it happens. So thank you again for joining. I wanted to bring just that quick video. Subscribe, like, and share. Turn on your notifications. I'm excited to bring this content because it rings true and dear to my heart, and I hope it's something that could help you or any of your loved ones if they're having any questions or anything going on with the scenario that they might need some help. Feel free to drop a comment. If you have any questions, you could always email me, and I could talk about that in an episode. If you want to hear something in an episode, you have a question that I could maybe break down or something, feel free to email me at the email address right there. And thank you once again for joining. Have a great one. Talk to you soon.